Wow, wow, wow. I am so honored to be here today. My friend Gary Kane invited me down here, and I'm Powerful Steve, by the way. I'm Powerful Steve, the King of Inspiration, and welcome to my Facebook Live. This is the Inspiration Information Station.
Okay.
And so you are actually the first outside of my regular show time, which is Monday to Friday from 10 till 10:30.
Okay.
And I said, okay, let's do a weekend edition of Stevie TV.
Okay.
So I want to thank you for this opportunity to just up close and personal with your work here. And I want to congratulate you on your release of Risk It All.
Thank you.
Now I got to ask you, how did you come up with the name Risk It All? What's the story behind that?
To be honest, I think it was pretty self-explanatory. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I just felt like it was time to stop living below what God intended for me.
Okay.
And instead of literally just puttering around the industry, which I feel like I've kind of been doing, because I was afraid to step out. You know, the whole humility thing,
Right.
you know, not being, too much of a braggart. I just said, nope, I got to do this. A good friend of mine actually told me recently, not using your talent is like spitting in God's face.
Right.
So I would never want to do that.
I can feel the vibe of what you're saying right now, because this very thing here, Stevie TV, Friday I hit my 10th episode.
Congratulations.
And, thank you very much. And this is how I describe it. I've been swimming in other people's pool for so long. I decided to build my own pool.
Yes, sir.
Now I can invite people to come and swim in my pool. Right.
Absolutely.
So I can totally relate to what you just said.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we're on a journey together, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. How old were you when you started to sing?
I've always been singing. I want to say that I never really thought about doing it as a career. I started singing maybe about like 6 or 7.
Okay.
I was mimicking my eldest sister, who was always singing around the house. And my parents owned a record store, so there was always music around us.
Okay.
And my eldest sister was singing like Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown and all kinds of stuff. And I loved the music that I heard, so I started around then.
Okay. Yeah. Now, this is the first concert I've been to where they open in prayer. So I have to ask you, did you start out in the church or on the church choir or anything like that?
Actually, I didn't. I do have a strong root in God.
Okay.
So that was always something that my family was always very, very strong on. But I didn't know they were going to start with an opening prayer myself.
Okay.
But I'm glad they did, because it changes the energy in the room.
Right.
And I think it creates an energy of receiving. You know, people are about to receive something.
Right. And
the same way that, biblically that God said, let there be light. Music is the second strongest thing, because it's putting sound to words.
That's true.
So yeah, I never got a chance to sing in church, but I've always just been around people who always lifted God in voice.
Right. Now I'm curious. There's 8 tracks.
Yes, sir.
How many writers are involved in that?
So the people that I called to come and write with me. Well, first of all, my big brother Glenn Lewis, who I was completely honored to learn a lot from. And a lot of people have constantly looked up to him, because he's one of Canada's biggest, around the time with the neo soul era, where Jill Scott and Erykah Badu and Maxwell were out. He dropped his project and it fit in so well. But Glenn Lewis was on the project. My friend AJ Rigby. Okay. My friend Tammy, who's another amazingly talented writer from Toronto. These are the people that I've called to come in and help me out with just really massaging the project, putting it together.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Are you have any plans for tour? I mean,
that's the ultimate goal. Yeah. I think what we want to do is finish the 3rd release off the project. So there's 8 songs.
Okay.
2 singles were released. So The Greatest was the first.
Right.
The title of the EP song was released on November 1st.
Okay.
And now we're doing the 3rd one in the beginning of the year. So we're working out the last video.
Okay. And so for the tour, if you were to just target a time period, when are you expected to try to pull the trigger and go on tour?
I think, you know, spring, summer would be great.
Right.
Because top of the year, at least we can really clean up all the things that we want to do as far as a live show.
Right.
And say, all right, this is what, have a short show, a long show, and see where else we can take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to consider yourself a veteran now, right? You can't consider yourself an amateur anymore. You're a professional and you're a veteran now. So what advice can you give right now to the young artists starting out? Tell them a challenge that you had and how did you overcome it?
I have to be careful with that question because I don't know if you have any children.
I do. I have 7 actually.
Okay.
Yes.
That's Father Abraham. You're right just behind him. Okay.
Married 37 years and I got 7 kids.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
Beautiful. The reason I caution is because the challenges that we had are not the challenges that our children have.
Okay.
And we also try to create a little bit more ease and comfort for our children.
Okay.
So the world that they live in is very different than ours.
That's true.
I think the industry that I'm in now is still very new because young cats, everybody who is younger, they're faster, they're sexier, they're smarter. Like they are going to understand the industry quicker than I will.
That's true.
But the things that I've put in terms of the practice, the respect for the craft, and finding a circle of people who elevate you, those are things that will never go out of style. And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it.
Right.
You have to make sure that you are great at your craft, for sure. That's probably the 3 pieces of advice that I would give a new artist.
Okay. All right.